Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today with a Toonami news update. There is more than one new thing of Toonami news over the last day or so I decided to combine it with my usual weekly ratings video. And the first things first, we got actually new schedules for October 17th and October 24th. If you've been closely following the block, you know that Samurai Jack actually aired its last episode this past Saturday. And to fill in the slot, it will be Demon Slayer coming back at the 3 a.m. slot. So it'll be taking the Moonlight slot right there, you know? And you can't really say much about a decision. It's 3 in the morning. It's not really an eventful spot in the block. So, I mean, you can really throw anything in there. It'll probably be fine. I mean, if they have Demon Slayer still, which apparently they still have the rights to air, then I guess might as well go for second airing because getting the rights to season 2 is going to be pretty expensive, probably. Yeah. So, and of course, if you've been following, and also the week after, the next 2 weeks after that, are going to be new schedules as well. First things first, October 17th, which, by the way, is when they're going to now air the Run the Jewels, Get Out the Vote special. I said a few videos back it was on October 10th. That got pushed back due to some technical issues, I believe. And I'm not exactly sure. I've been told it's going to be like a live performance, which is going to be interesting there. You know, I thought it was going to be like a special 1 hour presentation or whatever, but apparently they're going to be trying to do this live, which always has its share of issues if that's really true. But again, and also a lot of people complain about why is Toonami being pushed back for this. And here's the lineup for October 17th. At midnight, Holy Calamavote, or Calamavote. There's no accent mark, so I'm going to say it's just Calamavote. And at 1 a.m., Dragon Ball Super, 1:30, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, 2 a.m., Assassination Classroom, 2:30, Fire Force, 3 a.m., Shippuden, and 3:30, Demon Slayer. If you've noticed something missing, it is because Black Clover will be taking that night off. It is generally believed because we are getting dangerously close to running out of dubbed episodes, and it's been a little while since Funimation has announced anything regarding Black Clover at this point. So that's going to be interesting here. And also, they also helped giving us the October 24th schedule as well. It will be Dragon Ball Super, JoJo Golden Wind, Assassination Classroom, Black Clover, Fire Force, Shippuden, and Demon Slayer. So it will be back for the 24th, which is interesting to note. I think they're at 2 new episodes left before they run out. And considering we've gotten nothing but radio silence out of Funimation regarding it, don't be surprised if we just completely run out of episodes at some point by the end of the year. That's almost guaranteed actually at this point, you know. And Toonami's actually got some general issues with its schedule it's going to have to face soon. First things first, Black Clover, which has been one of the stalwarts of the block this year, I would argue the biggest MVP of 2020 on Toonami, just because it's one of the few things that's airing reasonably new episodes and hasn't really been impacted that much by the current outbreak, you know? And yeah, and also other things. I believe JoJo's Bizarre Adventure ends in the next few weeks as well. They're gonna have to do something with that slot. Fire Force, I believe in a couple weeks we'll be getting the season 2. We already have an announcement that we will be getting Fire Force season 2 after Fire Force season 1 now. So we have that at least to look forward to. And other than that, the issues of the block is that it's just a very stale schedule right now. Like, compared to recent past schedules, this one doesn't have much pop to it. If you're looking at hard hitters, you have a retread of Dragon Ball Super. I say retread because it's the second time they've aired this on Toonami. I mean, after Golden Wind, we're not going to get Stone Ocean for a while. Then you have Assassination Classroom, which is, I checked, nearly a decade old at this point. I did not know it was that old. But apparently a lot of people on the block like it, so it ends up being one of the big hitters. Fire Force, I understand Toonami's policy of bringing shows back for a second season that they brought for the first season, but this show was I felt was very underwhelming to me. And also the fact that it didn't end up being the heavy hitter that I think a lot of people thought it was going to be last year. Like, I remember there was a point last year when everyone's saying Fire Force will be the anime of 2019. It's the anime of 2019. And then Demon Slayer just kind of came out of nowhere, you know, and just absolutely shattered records at the time for manga sales, you know, which was, I mean, pretty impressive. If you unseat One Piece in Japan, that's massive numbers right there, you know. Because that's one weird thing. Even though like One Piece's popularity is kind of just become more of a cult popularity here in the US, it is still selling gangbusters over in Japan, and it's never really stopped. But enough of that tangent. I mean, after that you have Shippuden, which I mean, you could say what you want about Naruto, but it's an old property at this point, and I think a lot of people just kind of want to move on to Boruto, which we had for like a year or so, and then we magically no longer had the rights to it. Interesting situation there. Demon Slayer, again, a retread because he recently aired this on the block and it's aired late in the block too. And really, I mean, I know a lot of people who look at the schedule like, I don't see anything I like here. And at this point, as much as I like Tommy, I can't really blame him because I mean, Toonami, because of obvious budget cuts, budget issues, they couldn't get something, and because of the lack of dubbing, they couldn't get like a Tower of God or God of High School or something like that. Heck, I bet even if they really, really wanted to, which they won't because Toonami is very allergic to anything that's not at least partially shonen, they could have gotten Uzaki-chan. Again, just seeing the voice acting cast of Uzaki-chan, I'm kind of happy Toonami's never gonna get it. But again, nonetheless, here you have again interesting schedule from Toonami for the next couple weeks. Again, always the issue with new schedules is that it can kill momentum. However, I don't think that's me big issue because we also have Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday, October 3rd, 2020. Let's start with the top of the block. Dragon Ball Super at a 0.19, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at a 0.14, Assassination Classroom at a 0.14, Black Clover at a 0.12, Fire Force at a 0.10, Naruto at a 0.09, and Samurai Jack at a 0.0 touchdown with extra point, of course. Yeah, this is pretty bad ratings. And I looked hard to see what could have caused this, and I think I found it. There's been this historic tendency that when UFC is on, like when there's like a big UFC night, that Toonami's ratings drop a bit. But Toonami's ratings plummeted this past week. And I think you can argue it's explainable by UFC because I don't follow UFC that well, so I don't know much. But I've been told by people that it was on cable on ESPN and that it was a bizarrely like good card for it being on cable because usually the best UFC, the best boxing matches, that's pay-per-view. They want you to spend top dollar for that. So a lot of people were probably attracted to that. And I have seen testimony in the past where Toonami and UFC audiences have overlapped quite a bit. So that's explainable. And usually Toonami will have at least one or two shows in the cable top 10 for that week, for that Saturday. And admittedly, Saturday is usually one of the lower rated cable nights. However, the highest rated show for premieres, so Dragon Ball Super doesn't count, was Assassination Classroom at 60th and JoJo at 61st. That's right. Assassination Classroom actually slightly built on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And for that fact, with all the shows being down, I'm going to call JoJo's Bizarre Adventure the big loser of the week. It is the only show that got built on, and every other show just dropped a bit. And maybe one more tiny worrying thing to note about is how that gap between Dragon Ball Super and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is still there. Even though the ratings are completely lower, because usually if the ratings are lower, there's less room to go, so that gap decreases, but you still have a healthy 0.05 of a point drop between Dragon Ball and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And this is the first time since Golden Wind was pushed up to this early 12:30 slot that we really saw any real issues with it being there in terms of ratings. And honestly, if I'm doing the schedule, I put my best foot forward. I put my most attractive foot forward. And since JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is ending soon, what I would do is I would throw Fire Force Season 2, as much as I just said I don't really like the show, and I don't think it has that. I don't think the fan base is as large as people think it is. I would throw that second behind Super and then put Assassination Classroom. I think those will be your two strongest shows to follow up Dragon Ball Super. And then eventually, at some point, you're gonna have to figure out what to do for Dragon Ball Super. It can't be the leadoff show forever. Me saying this, they're gonna have Dragon Ball Kai be the new leadoff show soon, aren't they? You know. And again, pretty down week. But considering the UFC connection, I am fully expecting the ratings to increase somewhat next week. The only difference between the schedules next week is that the 3 a.m. slot will be Demon Slayer instead of Samurai Jack. No real differences there. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on Toonami's new schedule for the next few weeks? What's your thoughts on Toonami ratings? What show would you like Toonami to have on the block? I love reading your comments. And if you like this content, more Toonami news content like this or whatever, please comment, please like, please subscribe. I'm Super Orange Cat, and that is all.